This is 365 Days of Movies, a series where I look at my top 365 movies. So let's go to the next movie. Number 18, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Rating, 9.83. Released in 2016, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Jesse Eisenberg, Diane Lane, Laurence Fishburne, Jeremy Irons, Holly Hunter, and Gal Gadot. It's been nearly 2 years since Superman's colossal battle with Zod devastated the city of Metropolis. The loss of life and collateral damage left many feeling angry and helpless, including crime-fighting billionaire Bruce Wayne. Convinced that Superman is now a threat to humanity, Batman embarks on a personal vendetta to end his reign on Earth, while conniving Lex Luthor launches his own crusade against the Man of Steel. This movie, to me, is a masterpiece. It was discounted, and I think it's continually discounted by a lot of critics and even fans. They have issues with it, mostly revolving around a name. However, I contend that scene that contains the name is amazing, especially in Ben Affleck's acting ability, in which Batman works out the entire plot at that moment because he's jarred by the name. So I think it's very important to the movie, and it's very well done, and I never considered that the name matched. So this movie, the biggest critique against it to me is actually one of its biggest pluses. However, from beginning to end, this movie is well crafted. It's well shot, cinematography, color, dialogue, lighting, music. My God, the music is so good, and especially the Wonder Woman music and the introduction of Wonder Woman. But the story and the way that it's developed is just awesome. And I think one of the things is that maybe puts people off is based on an article that I read that deconstructed the movie and said that it was a 5-act structure instead of a 3-act structure. And it does seem that way to me. 5-act structure is an older structure that's mostly, started with the ancient Greeks, but it's still used today. And when you're doing a serious movie that has a lot of things to say in it, I think the 5-act structure makes more sense than the 3-act structure. The 3-act structure is just a common Hollywood way of making movies, and I think that often makes or can increase the chances of being superficial about things, just adhering to these 3 acts of the introduction to the story, the development of the story, and the climax of the story. And it really, I'm not into formulaic things, and it is a formula, as that's a joke in from another of my favorite movies. But I think that art and movies should be created with a plan that does, a formula can be one form of plan, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. You don't have to structure it in acts. You can structure a bunch of the things together, the story and the plotting and that sort of stuff, and combine them, and then let the writing flow, and then adapt it later to the movie. And I think that is one of the methods that was used to make this movie. And as I said in the beginning, and I'm going to say it again now, it's a masterpiece, and it deserves this rating. And I just really discount anyone who doesn't like it. It doesn't make any sense to me why anyone would dislike this movie. It's a really well-made movie. And if you didn't check it out when it came out, maybe reviews or something like that made you not want to check it out, or maybe you're not in this kind of movie, I think give it at least a watch. It's got a 20-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, kind of suggests that it's a 2 out of 10 movie or a 2.5 out of 10 movie. And there's no way anyone could make that argument. I could understand if someone considers it a 5, a 7, an 8, that sort of thing on their own personal list, because movies are very subjective. But if everyone considered it that low, then I don't know. I don't understand the subjectivity, because there's other movies that influence this movie, and this movie is later going to influence that people are going to think much higher of, that don't have Batman and Superman in it. So I think that those two things are juxtaposing the way people view the movie, that they would accept it in one way but not accept it in another way. However, there are obviously people who just don't like a movie like this. They like Batman and Superman. They like these kinds of movies. They don't like the combination, or they just don't like it, and they rate it lower. That's fine. I understand that. But going below a 5 makes no sense. So if maybe you feel that way about the movie and you've only watched it once and you haven't seen it since, maybe revisit it with a more, open mind, and maybe just don't judge the movie as you're watching it, and maybe just let it speak to you. If you feel the same way afterwards, sure, I understand. But I think that this movie requires multiple viewings to truly get to the nitty-gritty of it. And it's just a wonderful movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Hey everybody. This has been 365 Days of Movies. We're going to keep plowing ahead. So let me know what you think of this movie. And if you want to discuss it further, comment below. If I get a lot of interest, I may very well make a full review of the movie. Maybe even a video essay. So let me know what you think. And let's get to the next one.